Death is an unavoidable reality, and death taxes can pose challenges for family and friends. After careful saving and planning to provide for your loved ones, it is disheartening to see them obligated to pay a portion to the government. Estate and inheritance taxes can impose significant financial burdens on your beneficiaries. However, if your wealth falls short of millions of dollars, it may be possible to evade estate taxes by not holding assets in specific states. Consequently, unless you possess considerable wealth, you could potentially evade death taxes by refraining from having assets in certain states. The state in which you pass away and the beneficiaries involved can greatly impact the financial burden on your loved ones. So here are the most expensive states to die in. Number 1. New Jersey. While the estate tax was eliminated on January 1, 2018, it doesn't have much impact on the majority of individuals. The inheritance tax, however, remains in effect, requiring many surviving relatives to fulfill their tax obligations. Fortunately, New Jersey displays some leniency when it comes to children and certain other relatives. In New Jersey, spouses, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, parents, grandparents, and civil union partners are exempt from paying the inheritance tax. Siblings, on the other hand, are subject to tax rates ranging from 11% to 16%, depending on the amount they inherit. Number 2. Maryland. Maryland imposes an inheritance tax of 10% on the clear value, calculated by subtracting qualified expenses from the fair market value. While estate tax concerns only arise for estates worth $5 million or more, some heirs in Maryland may be required to pay taxes even when inheriting as little as $1,001. In the case of domestic partners, they are generally obligated to pay the inheritance tax unless they inherit the primary residence as a joint owner. Considering these circumstances, individuals residing in Maryland may want to consider getting married. However, it's not everyone in Maryland is subject to the inheritance tax. To avoid burdening your loved ones with the tax bill, it is advisable to leave your assets to exempt heirs, including spouses, children, stepchildren, or the surviving spouses of children, siblings, parents, and grandparents. Number 3. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a challenging tax landscape for individuals inheriting assets upon someone's death. While the state doesn't have an estate tax, its inheritance tax is quite burdensome. In this system, inheritance tax rates range from 4.5% to 15%. This means that if you pass away, your children may end up with a significant tax bill. The only exemptions to this tax are when your child heir is 21 years old or younger, or when your spouse is the heir. For surviving children above the age of 21, a 4.5% tax rate applies, while siblings face an even higher tax rate of 12%. The tax rate jumps to 15% when non-relatives inherit assets. To provide some relief, the state offers a 5% discount if the tax is paid within 3 months. However, even with the discount, some loved ones still have to pay a 10% tax rate. Number 4. Nebraska. If someone passes away in Nebraska or possesses assets there, their beneficiaries may be responsible for paying an inheritance tax. Spouses are once again given preferential treatment in this state and are exempt from any inheritance tax liability. While surviving children receive some relief, they still have to contribute to the tax. Although children only face a 1% tax rate, larger amounts can result in substantial tax bills. However, it's important to note that children are not the sole individuals who are required to pay this tax in Nebraska. Children, parents, siblings, and grandparents owe a 1% inheritance tax on amounts exceeding $40,000, while aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews are subject to a 13% inheritance tax on amounts over $15,000. Individuals who are not spouses of relatives must pay an 18% inheritance tax on all values surpassing $10,000. Number 5. Kentucky. Kentucky offers a relatively more favorable tax environment for inheritance, but it depends on the specific individuals who inherit your assets. Most immediate relatives are fortunate enough to be exempt from any inheritance tax liability in Kentucky. This includes children, stepchildren, grandchildren, and siblings. However, other relatives do not enjoy the same exemption privileges. Nieces, nephews, great-grandchildren, aunts, uncles, and children-in-law are subject to inheritance tax rates ranging from 4% to 16%. Nevertheless, they are granted a modest exemption of $1,000. On the other hand, individuals who do not fall into the aforementioned relative categories face tax rates of 6% to 16% and receive a smaller exemption of $500.